lot of you guys in chat have always referenced Skyrim when I'm playing. You guys are always like, oh man, that looks like a Skyrim piece of armor, or they took that from Skyrim, and I've never actually played it. I know of Skyrim, obviously I've watched people play it, but I've never played it myself. Well, it looks like Tom Keck put together some armor that basically says if Skyrim and WoW had a baby, this is what it would look like. So let's see what Skyrim Dragonborn set would look like in WoW.
Oh boy, today we're doing something different. We bring into this world the most ambitious crossover event yet, the Travis Scott burger of the games industry. My name is Tom, I'm a games artist, and I made a Skyrim Dragonborn armor set for a while. So let's begin. I started with a brief hunt for that sweet reference material. The set I'll be making isn't actually a real
cool
set within Skyrim. Rather, it's a rough assembly of armor pieces Bethesda seemingly decided would be the face of their game. And the community kinda ran with it, because it looks sick.
It does look sick. It is classic Viking, fantasy. This is a badass set. I mean, this is a man set right here. Biceps fully exposed, one piece of shoulder plate, the Viking helm. I mean, yeah, this is cool.
Piece of the Dragonborn's identity, the Iron Helmet. As awesome as this design is, the only thing it leaves to desire is wearing it beyond the first hour of the game. Say what you want about Bethesda, they do take pride in their starting gear. I mean, honestly, what was the last time a Blizzard cinematic featured the recruit shirt? I can handle sending Malfurions to live in a farm, but some things make me wonder if they even care about their legacy. Having the base of the helmet...
The nicest set that Blizzard ever gave as a starting set was the Death Knight one. Like, that's the only one that I've ever seen people actually transmog into, even at cap level, from a starting set perspective. Yeah, the Death Knight one is kind of iconic.
Mate, I gave our Dovahkiin a nose guard to protect his sniffer, and a big central rim on top of his head. And to make it look anything remotely like the actual Iron Helmet, I of course gave him his big fancy horns, to make him look all Nordic and Skyrimian. Skyrimese? Skyrish.
The mage one sometimes, yeah.
I fixed the back of the helmet and duplicated it for that second layer.
Actually, the mage one is one that Blizzard has used as reference material. There's that animated picture of the girl mage, right? The one that I used to use for all the time in WoW, that she was wearing the original starting mage robe. That's right. Forgot about that.
And made the helmet thicker than 1 pixel so it actually offers that protection. Because we have the technology. And because last video, you guys loved it more than life itself, I once again sharpened the edges one by one. I dare one dispute that I am a man of the people. Admittedly it varies, but I think the most iconic body armor in Skyrim is the studded armor. So that's what our Dragonborn is going to wear. I started by modeling the leather straps that go around the torso.
Good old leather straps.
The metal disc bit in the middle. On the back, they come together on this diamond-shaped metal thing, which I made bigger than it is in Skyrim to better fit the WoW art style. The design elements around it are quite bare, so it wasn't competing with anything. As a matter of fact, I did the same thing for the aforementioned metal disc. To me, it's the centerpiece of this armor. If armor is what you'd call a glorified dinner plate strapped to your belly, yeah. Realism was perhaps secondary. Keep Shadowversity away from this one.
It looks cool already.
Dovahkiin's belly, it's kept warm by this big fuzzy belt that I unironically wouldn't mind having in real life, considering I deliver food by bike and the Netherlands is basically England but without the sunny weather. Something that would suit me less on the bike is these long flaps. They do look cool, and if studded leather worked, these would actually protect your legs.
Yeah.
Underneath, it's a kind of...
This is very functional armor when you think about it. Like, legitimately, it's leather, obviously. It's not like full-blown plate armor. But it does cover all the important bits and it actually protects you and keeps you warm as a Viking.
Animal belt skirt,
some
which I modeled by
functionality to this
taking
armor.
the default in-game model for ropes and lifting them up like the cheeky bastard I am. In Skyrim, unlike WoW, shoulders are just a part of your body armor. In the studded armor, it has a leather covering as a base, which in the original goes below the belly straps. But
I like this. Yeah, he's definitely going WoW here. You got to have the big shoulder. It can't be a set without the big giant shoulder pads.
Make this work for WoW. So I betrayed my source material and simply put them over top the belly straps. The metal part would cover most of the difference anyway, so no big.
Blizz does need to hire this guy.
Next, I made the lag flap for the backside by simply
good.
duplicating the one from the front side, after which I went to work on the gloves. Rather than iron gauntlets, I opted for steel gauntlets. I see portrayals of the Dragonborn vary on the mittens, so I simply decided to go with what I considered to be the most aesthetic choice. They're both pretty similar, but the steel ones just have more of the Nordic touch, which I think add more to the set. I made a curved metal plate, which I would slap onto the forearm of my Dragonborn. Luckily, forearms are a perfect cylinder, so it definitely didn't take smooth editing skill to make this look like a one-shot success. Having gone for the steel gauntlets, it was only natural for me to stick to the theme and go for Skyrim's beautiful steel boots. These are actually a really sick design, in my opinion. And between you and me, I would love if Blizzard.
I don't know if it's because I like favor the Lich King or whatever, but I always like the fur with the boots. Something about the fur on the boots just makes it feel like extra, you know, it's that Nordic badassness Lich King
My
vibe.
opinion. And between you and me, I would love if Blizzard just took a little Chinese inspiration here and made basically the same boots for one of the sets in game. Imagine a dwarf pulling up in these. Oh my. The rest of the footage recorded the wrong monitor, so I'll just summarize it by saying I make the shapes more refined and added pointy points to the fur. I UV unwrapped it all, which won't make anyone happy, so I'll just skip the saying, after which our Dragonborn fella, our beautiful Dovahkiin,
Let's see
looked
him.
something like this.
Oh,
Nice.
damn.
Now before we texture the bastard, a word from our beautiful sponsor. Starforge PCs.
Oh,
And
shit.
built with experience and care.
Nice.
Starforge offers builds at a wide range of
Starforge
price
sponsorship for
points. Are you looking for that
Tomcat?
machine that lets you run WoW in 48 accounts
damn,
at
I wanna
once
see
while
the
mining
armor set.
Bitcoin to pay for the sub fee? The Voyager series has got you covered. Are you on a more modest budget but need something reliable and fast? Fear not, because the Horizon
Get your
series is
Starforge
here for you.
PCs.
And if that ain't special enough,
What is in the Horizon series? That's actually not a bad price. I wonder what graphics card it comes with.
And if that ain't special enough for you, Starforge even offers limited edition builds every month, as well as a wide range of custom cases and plate lights to customize your own PC. All of it, of course, coming with a 2-year parts and labor warranty.
Yeah, very
Premium
nice.
quality, excellent service, and accessible pricing. If you're a gamer or content creator looking for a new PC, Starforge has got you covered.
There it is.
Now, just make sure to use my link. It's in the description. Texturing is where this whole thing becomes a challenge.
Yeah.
As I always do, I started by finding my basic
I say it all the time. We were just reviewing the tier sets this morning. Texturing and layers make the set. That's what makes it make or breaks the set most of the time.
WoW's art style is a good bit more vibrant in color than the colors in Skyrim, the palette of which captures a vibe best summarized as England without all the sunny weather. Because of this, I couldn't just steal my colors from the source material, but rather I had to find my own. Besides, I was dealing with leather on top of leather, so I had to
Right.
make sure that those layers
Different shades
didn't
of
all
leather.
blend together. Regarding the metal disc thingy, it's a central feature.
You know what would be great for this set? If they ever made the Vrykul a playable race, this would have to be their Heritage Armor set. Like, that's what this looks like so far.
and I wanted it to pop, so I played with a little shine hitting it from above. For the helmet, I painted in some basic light, trying to simultaneously establish a bit of a rough texture. This thing was probably found in a dungeon, so I wanted it to look
Yeah,
like it took
it's gotta
some
be a
hits
bit
during its
dented.
lifespan, reflected in a dent.
Damaged.
I, for the first time, painted fur in my Undead Horse video, which wasn't easy, but ultimately went fine. I'd done that now, so I felt like I could do it again. Leather, however, I had never really done beyond a few shitty straps. This made me anxious, considering, well, you could see why. I got ahead of myself and already started playing with ways to create the right texture for it here, which on one hand was pointless to do at this stage, but was worth it just to look for a sense of confidence that I could actually pull it off. These videos make it look like this is all done pretty quick,
Sure.
but in reality, these projects take me many hours of work. Better said, days of work, sometimes weeks. Quite a few of my
You know what's crazy, though, is he does this. He's talking about how long it takes, but he's one person. This is insane that he does this as one person. And Blizzard has so many people. Like, they could literally, Blizzard could separate this armor out and be like, you do the gloves, you do the belt, you do this. This guy's one person doing it all. It takes him a couple days, man. Blizz needs to hire the man. That's
projects
it.
took some toll on me because I was scared that towards the end of the process, I would run into a point where I just didn't have the skills to pull
It's
off
like Sam a
what
bit
needed to be
damaged
pulled
and
off, and we just fail. So far, I've made it work every
What's up,
time, and
Pumbaa?
it's
No,
getting
not
better,
really
but
either.
it helps to look for that confidence early on. And because I don't want to sound like a man who holds a coffee mug with both hands, I'll switch the topic away from my little artist feelings. Like I mentioned, I would need to, again, paint fur. Last time I did it mostly through line art, but this time I figured out a better approach, which is to...
What the heck is
The
that?
horns have this kind of goat horn texture to them. So I painted in some deeper
What's up,
lines,
Diaz?
as well as corresponding light to make their shapes come out better. Next, I began painting the line art. For the dinner plate, I wanted to do a mix between the motif of my source material
This is starting to look
and
really cool.
kind of my own spin, sort of. The original is a bit of an odd design, and I feel like it works better in Skyrim than it would in WoW. So I altered it a bit, playing around until I found something I liked. After the metal disc thingy, I would paint the line art for the leather straps that hold it all in place. The WoW art style is designed to be viewed from far away.
Nice.
So
This
it
looks like
makes
something you'd loot in, like, the boring tundra or something. It definitely it's like North End. Obviously Viking inspired, so Vrykul-esque vibes.
sure to keep up that nice chunky aesthetic and apply it to the details. The shoulders, I gave a neat little stitch
I love the
along its
layers.
edges, starting with a dark cavity, which I filled up with some beige lines. Simple and effective. The helmet also has its share of details. These are actually very subtle in the original, but again, this is the WoW art style, so I made them pop a little more on mine, trying to not go overboard with it either. I continued
Man, I
painting
want
the
this
fur of the
set.
belt I increasingly wish I had, sticking to my newfound method of lots of taps. I started with a bit of a middle tone and gradually worked out towards the darker and lighter shades. I feel like fur is going to be one of those things where I just play around with different techniques as I gradually develop a more deliberate method that works. Picking up where I left
The
off.
fur looks freaking great. That's really, you know what's really cool about what he's doing here is how many layers it has to it. The belt looks like it's underlying and pushing out, and then the fur is hanging over. This is such a cool look to this belt.
It was time to really bring my metal to life. Being the only part of this armor that would actually offer protection from something other than gold and virginity, I wanted the plate to look like it took some hits. Giving it cracks.
You're right, Egg. I mean, this armor could be put that Midnight does take us back to Northrend. Maybe they hired Tomcat and we actually get this armor in some Vrykul sets.
While simultaneously
playable Vrykul.
shiny enough to be recognizable as metal from a distance. Since the outlines of the motif are a little thicker than just line art, I went ahead and gave it extra depth, using some subtle lighting. The problem I often have is holding back a bit too much in contrast, so I'd need to come back and add on top of the highlights, but it's getting there. A similarly metallic, yet even more important part of this set was, of course, that sweet iron helmet. I gave it another pass in which I really tried to bring out the roughness of the surface. I still have the tendency to make metal look too smooth. If there was any part of the set where I want to avoid that mistake, it's the noggin. Again, this thing was most likely found in the caves underneath Helgen, next to a sleeping bear. It needed to reflect this history in its appearance. Because it would have been too time efficient to simply get there in a previous pass, I once again painted the details of the horns and really tried to get them there. At the time I felt like I might have added a line or two too many, but looking back, it's fine. And considering the set has indeed only a single shoulder pad, I had better make sure it was good enough for two. It was lacking behind a bit in progress, so enjoy the catch-up. Yes, I have seen trees look more like trees. Still better than the Bayou Tapestry.
I like it so far. All that looks really cool. The shoulder, obviously, I mean, that's a big boy shoulder. That's how WoW armor has to be. Always big boy. Fun Viking. Midnight is the Alpha expansion last time. Maybe. Yeah, maybe you're right. But either way, we do know we're going back to Northrend, so hey, maybe they bring this set
Let us lay waste to this realm.
Bruno, thank you for the sub on YouTube.
Bayou Tapestry. Once more, putting my technique to work, I painted the fur of the legs, which again, worked surprisingly well. This is finer fur, so a bit of a different look. But my taps paid off as, deep down, I knew they would. Now to contrast it with something that went less well. I find it important to show my failures from time to time, so enjoy me trying to paint some kind of line art for the fur. If someday this video mysteriously disappears off YouTube, it's not you, it's me. Worry not though, because here is my favorite shot of the video. Me finalizing the belly straps. I'll be honest and say that I'm quite happy with how this turned out. Not only do I think the frayed leather edges turn out pretty damn nice, it also does the job of making it readable against the texture underneath, which is indeed also leather. Speaking of which, I think that it similarly turned out pretty nice. Definitely makes me excited to try and paint more armor sets in the future. It's good.
And I want a leather tank top like this as a freaking option. Like, just sometimes when you're in the city, you take your armor off and you're just wearing a leather tank top. It's badass.
I initially painted a motif for the gauntlets that was a weird version of the original, make the fit
some
more
proper
RP
armor.
The long one. So I instead deleted it into the void where it belongs and just did something completely different from scratch. Instead of taking the easy route and just painting a few lines accompanied by some highlights around the edges, I tried to paint a proper 3D effect. This was made substantially more difficult due to the fact that Blender does not let me color pick across layers, but with some persistence we got there. And rather than showing you the rest of me finalizing these textures and spoiling the fun, I will instead reveal to you what it all had led to. But first, these videos unfortunately take a lot of work. And if you want to support me and what I do here, I've recently opened up channel memberships. If Patreon is too much hassle but you want to throw me a bone, you can also do it simply here on YouTube. As always, I want to thank the amazing legends that already support me and make it possible for me to put all these hours into the channel. Shout out to the new patrons, Fsta99, Gomp, and Flora, and shout out to the Ultra Mega Chads, Dumbo Jimbo, Dinkeldork, Mimiaga, and also Flora. You guys are awesome.
Let's see it. Let's see it. Oh, shit. Oh my god. This looks amazing. Oh, I love the belt, man. Oh, shit. Look at the shoulder. Damn. I freaking want this. I mean, imagine as a Death Knight just rolling around in this freaking gear like you were a Viking who was slaughtered by the Lich King's army after destroying hundreds of scourge. You finally fell to your knees and was raised again as a Death Knight, and now you're still wearing the Viking armor that you died in. Oh my god. This looks so... Oh, color variations on it? Oh. Damn. Love this, the black.
Oh, one more thing.
Oh, shit. Death Knight version. Oh, man.
Yeah, the green version should have been there in the last video. I'm sorry.
Man, this freaking looks great. Really nice video from Tom Keck. Holy crap. I mean, obviously, you know, that looks freaking badass. This looks badass. This is high fantasy Viking. This is why people want to play Vrykul and WoW. I mean, how could you not, as a high fantasy lover or a player of anything that has to do with war, not want to be a Viking? This is damn near a perfect recreation. Yeah. I mean, look, this thing makes me want to play Skyrim. I'm not gonna lie. It takes inspiration from it, obviously. This is just so cool. I love the Nordic vibe. It's just amazing. I can't say enough about it. They need to hire this man. They need to get this shit into the game, and they need to make Vrykul playable so people can wear it on them. Yeah, very good video from Tom Keck. I'll link this in the chat so you guys can watch the video and you know, give it a like, watch it all the way through so it helps the algorithm push it through YouTube. Nice video from Tom Keck.